Applying different types of formats to your text can include B for bold, I for italics, U for underline, and you can see the different types of buttons or the options up here. Also, you can change the font size. For example, I'm going to go ahead and click in the text here so I can see the text box around it, and then I can go ahead and click and drag and select the text. After I select it, notice off to the right, just kind of fading in, is that little shortcut toolbar here that gives me B for bold, I for italics. If I move out and then I come back and that shortcut toolbar doesn't come up, well, when in doubt, you can always right click and it brings it back up, but it also brings up the shortcut menu here, which is fine, but I can still unitalicize it, unbold it. You also have that available up in the font group here on the home tab, bold and italicize, and get rid of that. Not only can you do that, but you can do a lot more when you click on this expandable dialog box button here. Click on it, expands. So for example, the font styles right now is regular. I can make it bold. I mean, there's no button here for bold within the screen, but you can change it to bold. And then instead of using, well, whatever the font is here, maybe I just want to type in mono. You see how it starts finding something for me. It begins with mono. Monotype cursive is what I want, so I'll hit the tab key to accept that without finishing my typing. Size 20, well, maybe I want to make it size 28. The font color could be something red. And then maybe I want to underline the text there. Select underline here and give it an underlined color. Maybe leave it as black or something. Okay. Also, we can make it all caps. So when I click and drag the header of the screen out of here, you can see most of it's lowercase except for the O here. But when I click OK and it applies all that, it looks kind of messy. I don't know if you can see it real well, but it's monotype cursive, it's in red, it's underlined with the blue-green. It also has all of it in caps, not just the O. And then of course you can see it up here, what's been applied to the font that you have selected down below, B for bold, U for underline. I can get rid of that by clicking on it so it's no longer applied to it. Monotype cursive, I'm going to go ahead and click up here and type in hit the tab key, Arial. And then what I want to do is so it doesn't wrap around itself is click and drag and stretch that handle out. And notice how I didn't select everything, so that little exclamation point is not applied to it. Well, I can do one of two things. I can go ahead and delete it here, hit the backspace key, and then see if I can hold down the shift key and hit my 1, and it still gives me that same font. I mean, you can play with this and just maybe delete both of these, hit the backspace key and hit the delete key to get rid of both of them, and then type in the letter S and then the exclamation point, and then, I still have to drag this out. Or, let me go ahead and undo that a couple of times. If you ever get in a mess like that and you're like, gosh, I want to take this formatting, this style, the red, the size, the font type, and I want to apply it to that little exclamation point, well, you can do that by using the Format Painter. For example, first of all, you want to click and put your cursor in any text that has a format that you would like to copy to apply it to some other text. So I like this formatting here, and it could be anywhere here because this whole line here, except for the exclamation point, is of the same format, okay? So I'm going to click anywhere in here, and then what I want to do is come up to the Home tab in the Clipboard group and click on the paintbrush. So what it does is going to copy the formatting from one place and apply it to another. So I want to make sure that my cursor is in that one place I want to copy from. Then come up here, click on the paintbrush. The paintbrush is on. You can see it's highlighted in orange. When I move my mouse out here to the center, you can see it. There's a little paintbrush. All I have to do now is click and drag, and anything I drag it over, it'll take the copy of the format and apply it to whatever I'm painting over. So let me go ahead and click and drag over the exclamation point and let go. Hey, looks good, huh? Now what happened to my paintbrush? It's no longer there. You get one paint job and then you're done. Well, that could be annoying. Let me click off in a blank area, especially if I like this so much, this formatting, the size of the font type, also the color red. Let's say I want to take this here and I want to apply it to other different slides. In order to do that, it can be annoying to come back here, click in the text, click on the paintbrush, paint once, come back, select it again, or click in it, click on the paintbrush, paint it again. I mean, that's annoying. What you can do is to keep the paintbrush up, to keep painting that format, is you can double click on it. For example, I'm going to first click in the text that I like here, the formatting, to copy. Once I click in it, anywhere in it, I'm going to come up here and double click really fast on the paintbrush. Then I'm going to go to slide 2, and I'm going to click and drag, and I'm going to click and not go all the way, so you can see what happens. See, my paintbrush is still up. It's going to be up until the cows come home, or until you do one of two things. Either come up here and click on the paintbrush button to deselect it, or you can hit the escape key on the keyboard, and that will work as well. So I'm going to go ahead and undo that, and then come up to slide 1. And you know, slide 2, it looks like in the thumbnail view like it still has red applied to it, but when you go back to it, it's done. It just may take a second or two to refresh it here or to update. In any case, I like this here. It looks like I hit undo one too many times, and it also undid my exclamation point. Well, like I said, I'll take care of that. I'll just go ahead and select it and just type over it with videos. And notice when I deleted it, the font actually increased to fit the whole text box. When I delete it, see how it starts enlarging to fit the size of the text box? But as I continue typing, it does an automatic fit here until it gets to the end, so it's so tiny it's size 20. I can click and drag and stretch it out and click off in a blank area and it looks good. Let me go back to slide 2 and let me show you another way of formatting your text. I mean, besides the simplistic way of just selecting your text and then coming up here, B for bold, I for italics, or using your expandable dialog box button to have more options, which includes not only underlining but the color of the underline and maybe all caps or shadows and things like that. In any case, let me click cancel. So you got two ways of doing this. But a shortcut I want to show you is the F4 key. Now remember, the paintbrush will copy any formatting, a collection of formatting applied to the text you have your cursor flashing in, to anywhere else. Now the F4 key only applies the most recent formatting. If the recent formatting you applied to some text here, let me double click on testimonials and I say it's going to be underlined. So the shortcut key for underline, besides clicking the U, is Control U. So if I do that, then I come over here and double click and I hit F4, that's the most recent formatting, it's underlined. Let me take it a step further. Let me double click and select training. Let me give it underline, italics, and click on the font color, or click which is red, or I can click down here and go to something like yellow. Okay, what was the most recent formatting that I applied to that? It was yellow, right? So if I go somewhere else, double click, and I hit F4, that's the most recent formatting. That's what the F4 key is for. However, there's a catch to this. It will do the most recent formatting on the outside of the expandable dialog box or the group button here. Let me show you. Let me hit undo to clean this up a little bit here. Let me go ahead and expand the font group here by clicking on the button, and let me come in here and make a mess of things. Let me change the font color, to something pink here, I guess. Underline's fine, to something green. Strike through, let me see what that is. So I make all these changes, right? Once I'm done, I can go ahead and click OK, and it applies to it. That strike through would be cool if it says, hey, it used to be 1995, you put a slash through it or strike through, and you type in your number over here. Now it's 995. Okay. So what I want to do is I want to take this and I want to apply it also to this word here, or maybe just on another slide. What was the most recent formatting that I checked in that box? It doesn't matter, but because it was done all in the group here, you can use that F4 key and it'll remember all the changes that were made within the group. So let me double click, hit F4, remembers everything. So let me go ahead and undo that here. So we're back to normal, or as near as we can get. Okay, let me go back to slide 1 here and let's look at some text effects. I want to apply some text effects to our new training videos here, so I'm going to go ahead and select it. Now when I'm selecting text, it has its own little contextual tab here. In other words, it's a tab that relates to what you're working on. You'll find these tabs, like when you're working in text, it'll have its own little formatting tab here that when you click on it, anything you do in here pretty much, or at least for the most part, will apply to what you're working on down here. I mean, you can change, again, the font color, applied some word art styles to it, quite a few things here that we'll cover a lot in level 1 and also level 2 here. I mean, there's more than one way to skin a rabbit. For example, you can come up here in the Word Art Styles group, come over here and hover over its text field. So you can click on the drop-down arrow. Remember, you can change the colors, and as you can see, when I hover over a color, it changes the text that I had selected down below. I mean, you can do that from a right-click here, right, and come over here and click on the drop-down arrow, and there's your colors there. You can also come up here on the Home tab and click on the drop-down arrow, okay, and get more colors. But the purpose of the format, where I get the text fill, is it gives me just more than colors, but it also gives me texture. So I can apply texture to it, gradients or pictures, even have a picture in the text there if we wanted to. And then come over here and just select some sort of texture here, maybe this. Click off in a blank area to see it. Actually, I did something that blends. That's great. Okay, let's do the same thing. Let me triple click to select the text again. Go back to the Format tab, the contextual tab that's relating to what I have selected. And then you can come up here and let's try text outline. See what it outlines the text, what options we have here. Go down to dashes. Maybe we can outline it with some, wow, that kind of looks like a theater sign here, the round dot. Although it's annoying, we've got dashes. I don't think there's an easy way out of here, so let's do the theater here. Click on it, click off in a blank area. Looks good. And notice every time I click off, that formatting tab disappears, the contextual tab, because I'm no longer working with the text here that PowerPoint can see. So I click on it, click and drag, it brings it back up here. I mean, most of this is something you'll probably be playing around with until you get the right effect that you're looking for. So, text fill, text outline, how about some glow effects here? Click on the drop down arrow. Again, we're on the Format tab in the Word Art Style group. And we can come down here to glow. And part of the problem is that wherever your text is hiding behind these little pop-up windows, you know, when you hover over you can see the changes. I can barely see some of the changes, but wow, man, that looks like the 70s funk. That looks even funkier, so I'll go ahead and click on that and select it and click off in a blank area. And man, I didn't know I was an artist here, but this is fantastic. Now you do realize that within those selections you do have the options saying no outline, no glow. For example, let me click and drag, come back to the Format tab, and then you can click on any one of these drop down arrows that we were just in, like with the effects or the text outline. You can say no outline and it gets rid of it. You can come down here and say glow, no glow, click on it, gets rid of it. Of course, I'll undo that a couple of times because I really like my funk and groove going on here. Now that may take a long time to do, because if you applied tons of formats, different types of formats to your text, and you're like, look, I just want it back to basics here. The easiest way to do that without going into all those different text effects and options and selecting no glow, no dashes, and so forth, go ahead and select your text, and then on the Home tab here, they have in the font group, they actually have a little button that's called Clear All Formatting. Go ahead and click on it. We're back to square one. Okay, I'm going to go to slide 2 and show you the last of the text effects that I think are very helpful here. When I look at the bullets here, we've got the main bullet, Office 2007 Training Videos, then we have the sub-bullets. Well, if I want to go ahead and decrease the indent, I don't want to indent it, I want to decrease it and have it go back out to the same level as this bullet point. Well, I can do it one of two ways. Just go ahead and click anywhere within this bulleted point here, and then up in the paragraph group on the Home tab, you can go ahead and click on, well, we want to decrease the indent, right? Click on it. Brings it back out, it increases the font size, it puts it at the same level, the hierarchical structure as this bullet point. You can do it in the paragraph group here, or you can click for the next example here in the next bullet, and when in doubt, right click on it, and you get the same little decrease and increase indent buttons here. So let me click on this to decrease it and push it out, and click off in a blank area. It looks great. And by the same token, you can click in here and also right click and increase it a couple of times, and wow. Hey, that's actually a good bullet point, but that's like at level 4 or so. Well, there's actually 3 ways. Besides the increase and decrease buttons in the paragraph group, and when you right click to bring up that shortcut toolbar, you also have the tab option. Literally, the tab key on your keyboard. To do this, you want to click just right after the bullet here before your text. And if you hold down the tab key, it'll actually increase the indent. If you want to go back out, hold down the shift key and then hit your tab key once, twice, 3 times. 4, so it's at the 4th level here, and it will move it all the way back out. So if you like the keyboards, go ahead and use, remember, tab and shift tab to decrease your indent. That little toolbar that comes up can be very helpful if you don't want to move your mouse all the way up, especially if you have one of those wide screens and you have to go all the way up to the top. Just stay right where you're at, and go ahead and select your text and then hover or right click, and it will bring up your shortcut menu as well. But you can also, additional things here that you may not know about is increase your font size a couple of times. You can see it increasing here, or decrease it, and again increase or decrease your bulleted points here, or your indents. And then you also have your Format Painter brush. Instead of going all the way up to the clipboard, let me right click again here to bring it back up. You also have your color options, your alignments. I mean, you got quite the little tasty toolbar here that can be a quick help to you, especially when you're looking for quick formatting options and not wanting to move up to the ribbon every time. Thanks for watching. Hey, as a quick reminder, if you like my video, please give it a thumbs up. You can also click on me and subscribe to my channel, get notified of the latest videos, and for only $2 a month, you can have access to all my Microsoft Office training videos.